Who's excited about the 2024 edition of the Chicago Bears? I know I am. I can't wait to get this season underway. If you're with me, hit that like button, thumbs up icon, and like this video. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to project the entire starting lineups on offense and defense for the Bears, all 22 starters for 2024. Not going to worry about special teams. We know who the kicker, punter are, all of that stuff. Let's get into it here. Start on offense with the quarterback, Caleb Williams. No surprise, no debate here. You trade Justin Fields, you draft Caleb Williams. Matt Eberflus names him the starter before his first practice took place. Pretty simple here. Obviously, the talent, the decorated college player at Oklahoma and USC, it's all there. He is a rookie. There will probably be some growing pains at times, but there's no question on who the starter is. And in terms of expectations and what we should expect to see from Caleb Williams, well, when you look at Justin Fields last year and even the year before too, you're not going to replace Fields' rushing ability, although Caleb, I think, will run a decent amount. What you absolutely need to see as soon as this year is a vast increase in passing production. Like, at minimum, the Bears' offense needs to be in the mid-3,000s in terms of passing yards production. Like, that needs to take place. You know, Justin was at, 2,600 yards last year. Caleb should be, the baseline should be 3,500 yards, and then, hopefully it ends up being more. So I expect that. I think the Bears have the pieces in place to get that done. Obviously, got to go out and do it. But Caleb is QB1, the starting quarterback. Number 2, running back, DeAndre Swift. Again, this is the projected starting offense for the Chicago Bears. And I think we're kind of like undervaluing this move for Chicago. Swift was really productive in Philadelphia to the point where Eagles fans were actually annoyed that they kind of stopped utilizing him at times down the stretch of the season when they went into that big funk in the last month and a half of the year. I don't think we're talking about this edition enough. We've talked about Keenan, we've talked about Odunze, even Gerald Everett. DeAndre Swift, I think, is going to have a pretty damn good year in this system under Shane Waldron, so I'm excited to see what he can do. It wouldn't shock me at all if he had a second straight 1,000-yard season. Let's go to the wide receiver position here. Obviously, your returning wide receiver 1 is DJ Moore. And the beauty is that you got a fellow wide receiver 1 joining him in Keenan Allen. Kind of your 1-2 punch here at wide receiver. 2 of the top 11 players in terms of receiving yards in the NFL last year, now on the same team. Obviously, with this many weapons, not just these two, the numbers could go down, especially, targets and catches and stuff like that. But both these guys are, DJ said it a couple times, it's going to be a race to 1,000 yards, see who gets there first. So should be fun, and I think this duo should be special. I mean, obviously, Keenan's had some minor injuries over the years, but that's the beauty. He comes in here, you have DJ Moore, you draft Odunze. If he misses a few games, it's not the end of the world. I can't wait to see him operate in the slot with DJ and Rome on the outside. Now, who's going to have the bigger 2024 season? If you think it's DJ Moore, type DJ. If you think it's Keenan Allen, type KA. It wouldn't surprise me either way in terms of who had more production in this offense. I think both will have big years, and the ball will be spread around plenty. And then that brings into play, and by the way, I'm projecting this Bears offense, kind of traditional 11 personnel, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Odunze kind of factors in what is he going to do in his rookie campaign. His last 2 years at Washington were terrific. I mean, leading up to the draft, the dream scenario for me, and I think the Bears too, especially if you watch the most recent episode of 1920 Drive on their YouTube channel, which, by the way, they used a couple of snippets from our show, so shout out to the Bears for that. But the dream scenario for me was Odunze and Caleb, and the Bears pulled that off. And even though Rome is projected to be that third guy this year, I think he's going to have an impact and play a big role on this offense. Speaking of which, if you want to get yourself a Rome Odunze jersey, you can do so right now, chatsports.com/Rome. Plenty of them available. Click that link. It's down in the comments and description of this video. Get yourself a Rome Odunze jersey for 2024. Let's go to tight end now. Cole Kmet, as obviously he continues to be your starting tight end. Got that nice contract extension last year. Turned that into probably the best and most complete year of his career. career highs in catches and yards. Had a good, productive season in the end zone as well with 6 touchdowns, and really took a step forward as a blocker too. I mean, he's a really complete 3-down tight end now. For sure a top tight end in this league. I would say fringe top 5. Go to the offensive line now. Left tackle Braxton Jones. He enters his 3rd season as the Bears starting left tackle. Kind of a hidden gem in the draft a couple of years ago out of Southern Utah. And, there was some speculation, what if they go draft a Joe Walt if he falls to 9 or someone like that. But that didn't happen, and Braxton is going to get the nod for a 3rd straight season here. And it's a big year for him. I mean, if he goes out there, takes another step, and puts a good season together, we could be going from, well, maybe you replace him to contract extension in a matter of a few months. So opportunity is there for him to go out there and seize this job long term. Did some good things last year. His PFF grades checked out pretty well. Still struggles a bit against bull rushers. That anchor isn't the strongest in the NFL, but technically he's pretty good. He's good in the run game, better in the pass game as well. So hopefully he can stay healthy and put together a good year. Right tackle Darnell Wright, who's obviously more of that blue chip first-round pick from last year, number 10 overall. I thought he was pretty clearly the best rookie offensive tackle in the NFL last year. The grades kind of check that out as well. I think he's got all-pro upside. Now, I don't know if he could be an all-pro this year as soon as 2024, but a Pro Bowl type of appearance wouldn't surprise me. I think he's got all the tools to be great. He's got the size, the motor, the technical skills, the strength, the mobility. I mean, he's really good, man. I just keep going back to what Corey Wooten, former Bears defensive line, said about him going into the draft last year. He said he looks like a Trent Williams on the right side. Now, that's high praise. If he becomes 80% of the player Trent Williams is, you're going to have a good player for a long time. But the physical profiles are similar. They're both super big and super athletic, which is a pretty rare combination. Subscribe to the channel. More subscribers equals more videos here on Chicago Bears Now. The more love we get from you guys, the more we're able to put out for you here in terms of videos. Hit that sub button, turn on notifications, and we will continue to plug away. Let's go to the interior of that offensive line. Left guard Teven Jenkins, who, for my money, I think is a top 10 guard in this league. When he's healthy, he's a bruiser. He's good at when they ask him to pull in the run game. Every once in a while we'll get beat on a pass rush rep, but that's few and far between, and with how violent he is as a player, you certainly live with those. The only question with him has been that health. Obviously, his rookie year had that back neck surgery. I can't remember now, but he missed 11 games there. Missed just 4 in 22, 5 in 23, which not a crazy amount, but not a little amount either. I mean, you're talking about a quarter of the season or more in all 3 seasons of his career. Again, when he's out there, he's a hell of a player. He can play both guard spots. You can play him at tackle in a pinch if needed. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And, hey, if he goes out there, balls out, and stays healthy, he's probably going to get a nice contract extension. Go to the right guard position now. Nate Davis, I'll still project him as a starter. I have questions. I have concerns. He struggled last year. He certainly had a lot to deal with off the field. Had a decent month stretch in the middle of the season after kind of getting settled in, but then he suffered a high ankle sprain, missed some time, and was not very good after the injury. So I'm expecting more, and if he doesn't play at a high level, it wouldn't shock me if he gets pushed for a starting job, but I will project him to start. He's making starting money, and he's going to get that opportunity, I believe. Center position, Ryan Bates. I will say this, if Davis struggles or gets injured, I could see the Bears moving Bates to right guard and playing Coleman Shelton at center, but I think for now, Davis is your starting right guard, Bates is your starting center. Reports suggest that Bates is going to get that first opportunity over Coleman Shelton. He's got the inside track. Ryan Poles has liked this guy for a couple of years now. Signed him to that offer sheet as a restricted free agent 2 years ago. Bills matched it, but then Poles turns around 2 years later and trades for him. So he's clearly been a fan of his game for quite a while here. I do think he will be this team's starting center to at least start the season, or at least going into training camp. And if he struggles, you got Coleman Shelton, experienced player for a reason. But I do think the Bears want Bates to be that guy and feel like he has a higher ceiling. Who do you think starts at the center position? Type RB for Ryan Bates, CS for Coleman Shelton. I think it will be Bates. We'll have to wait and see how things play out over the next few months, but that is a competition to keep an eye on. All right, let's go to the defense now. Edge, Montez Sweat, clearly your best defensive lineman on this football team. I mean, the way he transformed this defense the second half of last year after the trade deadline, I don't think was a fluke at all. The Bears defense was already playing better than the year before with Matt Eberflus calling the plays, but Sweat really took it to a new level because they actually had a pass rusher on this team. But you could certainly use more on that defensive line, but he's going to be that lead dog there, no question about it. As of now, I got DeMarcus Walker being your second starting edge rusher. I still like him better as that like heavy rotation guy who can play some edge, can play some 3-tech, but unless they go out and get somebody, I think he's a starter for now. I do expect the Bears to sign another defensive end, whether it's bringing back Yannick Ngakoue or going out and getting a Calais Campbell or someone else. I do think an addition on this defensive line will happen, but until it does, I think Walker is pretty safe to be a starter. 3-tech defensive tackle, I'm going to go Gervon Dexter Sr. as I think it's pretty clear that the Bears are going to give him that chance to break out and be that true starter. He certainly flashed signs last year. He's got great physical profile. Matt Eberflus during the first week of OTAs really praised the level of shape he came into OTAs in. He's slimmed down. He's quicker. So Dexter seems to be really pushing himself to take that next step. And the Bears are banking on him for now. If Gervon Dexter struggles this year, defensive tackle is your weakest position at that point. It really, really is. So with Justin Jones gone, they didn't really replace him. They're banking on Dexter to take another step. You got Zach Pickens in there as well, who can play a little bit potentially, but he doesn't have the ceiling Dexter does. Nose defensive tackle, Andrew Billings, who was your most consistent interior guy last year. Great against the run, even gave you some decent pass rush reps last year. So kind of a high floor, low ceiling guy, but has gotten the most out of his ability in his career. Middle linebacker, Tremaine Edmunds, who struggled a bit at the start of last year. I thought he played better the second half of the season. Really picked up his level of play. He got the bigger contract, but TJ Edwards, who is your other starting linebacker there, he certainly played at a higher level, a more consistent level throughout 2023. But both players were good. This is one of the better linebacker duos in the NFL right now. The production is there. They combined for 7 interceptions, so they can play the run, they can play the pass. If Edmunds' instincts were just, like if we always say this, if Tremaine Edmunds had Jack Sanborn's instincts, this team's third linebacker, he'd be an all-pro. Or if Sanborn had Edmunds' crazy athletic traits, he'd be an all-pro. Like if you could combine those two, but both are good players. If Edwards continues to play like he has and Edmunds is a little more consistent, this linebacker duo is going to be very, very good. Who do you think is going to have the bigger 2024 season? Type TJ if you think it's TJ Edwards, TE if you think it's Tremaine Edmunds. Edwards is a safe play, but if Edmunds kind of continues to build off of that strong finish, he certainly has the higher profile. Let's go to the defensive backfield, outside corner, Jaylon Johnson, obviously your CB1. Got paid like it, too, that 4-year, $76 million contract. You look at how PFF graded him out last year. Just a stud, 91 overall, same in coverage. Was a more willing tackler last year. I think Tyrique Stevenson came in and set that physicality tone at the corner position, made Jaylon a more willing tackler. Great ball production, which is something he was lacking before, 4 interceptions. So he got paid like a CB1, and he was asked recently, hey, now that you've gotten paid, what's the motivation? He said, well, I want to win now because this team hasn't won a ton. So I don't think Jaylon's going to be one of those guys that gets paid and then kind of just mails it in. Tyrique Stevenson definitely isn't mailing it in. This guy is an absolute dog, one of my favorite players on this football team. I've said it a dozen times probably on this show. For my money, I thought the second half or the final 6 to 8 weeks, you look at kind of the production here, final 7 games in particular, I thought he was the best rookie corner during that stretch. Now, Devon Witherspoon was terrific all year long. There were a couple other guys in the NFL as rookies last year that had more complete rookie seasons, but I don't think anyone finished better than this guy did. I mean, you look at how much he improved within the course of a season. Basically no ball production despite getting targeted and giving up a bunch of completions the first 9 games. Missed 1 game, and then the final 7 games, 4 picks, 11 breakups, gave up just 2 touchdowns, Completion percentage dropped over 23%. Hell of a tackler, forced a couple fumbles, including one in Week 18 against the Packers to give the Bears offense another chance. This guy plays with swagger and attitude, and it wouldn't shock me at all if at the end of next season we're talking about the Bears as a team that has 2 true CB1s. Nickel corner, Kyler Gordon, who I think this guy could be a Pro Bowler. I really, really do. Struggled most of his rookie year, but I thought he finished strong his final month. And then last year was arguably the best defensive player in training camp. Then he breaks his hand in the season opener. But once he got back, Week 5, Week 6, the rest of the way, he played really, really well. You could see the confidence grow. This secondary is starting to gel together. We've already seen that at OTAs, and I think Gordon's a big piece of that group. Couple of safety spots here. Free safety, Kevin Byard. He comes over from Philadelphia. Probably a little past his prime, but I think he's a pretty clear upgrade over Eddie Jackson. A, he's much more durable. He's never missed a game in his career. B, a willing tackler. Eddie Jackson, one of the worst tackling free safeties in the NFL the last several years. So more healthy and more willing of a tackler. Even if his ball production is average, that is a clear upgrade just for those 2 reasons. And then strong safety, Jaquan Brisker, entering year 3, kind of in that Kyler Gordon mold. I wouldn't be shocked if he had a Pro Bowl caliber season. I thought he really came on strong late last year. You know, you get these young players. It's kind of midway through that second season where a lot of these things start to click, and I definitely think that was the case for Brisker a year ago. So there you have it, the projected Bears starters on offense and defense. Let me know if I made any glaring errors. I don't think I did. Obviously, there's guys like Jack Sanborn who will play a lot in base defense. Different guys rotating in at skill spots, Gerald Everett, Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, etc. But in terms of pure starters, I think those are going to be your 22 guys. Injuries aside, signings aside. We'll see how it plays out leading up to training camp. If you want more Bears content, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.